Don't show that part, okay? We'll leave that. We'll leave that to the censoring, right? Uh-oh. Where's my constitution? Oh, I found it. Hello. Oh my gosh. Oh, my voice. I'm sorry, everybody. I've been super sick. Super sick. But I missed you all so much. I wanted to just pop on and say hello. And I'm here. I am still here. So I've not forgotten. It's been a rough few days. But I think it's been a rough few days for a lot of people. From what I'm hearing, a lot of people have been pretty sick recently, so I'm not alone. Hello, hi, Ollie. Yes, I just had to come on for a little bit and be like, yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. Lumpy blankets, a jazz mite. That's so fun. Hello, everybody. I know it's kind of like a Saturday afternoon. Hi, Coyote Katie. It's nice to see you too. And not many people come on at this time, but it's what works for me at the moment. So, hi, Natso. Hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well and loving your haircut. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear the scan went well. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad to hear that. Great news. I'm doing okay. Hello, Go Live Vegas. Good job. You're doing a lot of hard work. I appreciate that so much. Yikes. I hope you're doing okay there in the Vegas. Yeah, I've been sick, everyone. I've been sick, and I'm still pretty hoarse. I've got my mic pretty close so you can hear me. So that just tends to happen when I get sick, is that when another part is always going to be laryngitis. So that's always fun, but what can you do? Not too much. I did get my notebook and pen ready. Love it, Logic Gal. Love it. Yeah, for sure. Feel better. I will. I'm working on it for sure. I'm working. My nose is red. I know. Oh my gosh, I know. I tell you what, everybody, my hair's up. Maybe you'll join. I'm thinking about it. So it's on my list. I'm looking at it. But yeah, I've got my hair up. I can't even have my hair down. I've got my red nose. I'm just like, what? But I'm still here, right? That's what counts. I'm still kicking. Yeah, I know, VC. I miss everybody so much. I couldn't make it through another day. I was like, this is it. I just can't do it. I had to come on and say hello at least. Yes, I am better. I am better. Hello, Melissa. I do have some, I'm not quite crystal clear, but did you speak on the Comey indictment? I did, just a little bit. Oh, VC, that's so sweet, and I miss you guys. I did speak a little bit on the Comey. I've been kind of catching others' lives right now, and they've been so sweet pulling me up onto their panels, which is a lot easier for me to do because I'm not talking the whole time. So they've been so super sweet to do that. I appreciate that so much. But with Comey, yes, we had 2 of 3 charges going through, interference with official government situation, which is the same charge Mr. Orange got, right, for January 6th, and then also false information regarding a specific thing he said. So again, that's just probable cause. Hello. That's only probable cause to go forward. It's pretty thin. It's pretty thin. We do have perjury charges on some of Mr. Orange's friends, right? So we've had kind of perjury or a failure to show up, so like a subpoena violation, and 2 of his peeps went to prison because of that, right? We have that. Help me out. I can't remember the names now. One of them was in prison and then got back out again, and then I think it was it Bannon maybe that disregarded a subpoena. So The point is, the guys I can't remember. The point is, two of his Navarro. Oh my gosh, Lavender. Yes, thank you, Navarro. So Navarro, I don't think he cared about Cohen, honestly, but Bannon and Navarro, everybody. Bannon and Navarro. Oh, I'm not sure about Manafort. Did he go to prison? But I do know those two went to prison, and so I have a pretty good feeling that this is again, you got to kind of you got to dumb it down and look at it through like a mafioso situation. That's what's, oh, he was, okay. Yeah, so that's what you got to do. So, I got a couple of fellas, they put him in the prison, right? And then so you just gonna come back and be like, I'm gonna put you in the prison now. That's my mafioso. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Okay, now, hello, hi. Hi, Willie B. Hi, Willie B. So I think that's a big part of it. Thank you so much. Perjury is hard to convict, and you usually don't get a prison sentence. But perjury, perjury also, I'm using the wrong word, and I'm glad you brought that up, because perjury is for a criminal situation. When you're testifying in front of Congress, it's false information, like you're giving false information to the cops, right? So it's not technically perjury. I do need Tang, Cynthia. Oh my gosh. My husband took my Tang away a couple days ago. He's like, no more Tang. You need to go rest. I'm like, I need Tang. That's like, I'm 50% water, 50% Tang. He's like, no. Yeah. So I'm glad you brought it up. So and that's what they're going after. My throat's a lot better. I just haven't got my voice back yet. So his main attorney is awesome. Good plus daughter is, yes. Well, and that's good, Maureen. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm not a fan of Comey. I do not. I'm not a supporter of him. I have watched his work, and I'm not talking even about politics. I'm just his strategies, his legal philosophy is not one that I'm supportive of. So it's just, like professional disagreement, agree to disagree when we used to be able to do that professionally, right? But on the other hand, everybody has constitutional rights. Everybody, even, whatever, the people you don't like. So I hope, my hope is that this will get tossed. So the big thing will be, do we even have that much probable cause? Because a grand jury might be like, man, we don't know. My goodness. What is that? That was so cute. Oh my gosh. So they might just say, we'll do these two. The third one, forget about it, which was pretty super thin. Oh, it was so cute, Kay. I know. So the judge, though, we could have a preliminary hearing. We could do a motion. The defendants may file multiple motions to get everything in order to dismiss. So I think what you're going to see in this case is every other thing that's filed will be defendant's motion to have it dismissed. So Krista, can the judge toss it? It's weird because we've had a recent civil case where that did happen, right? Where the judge was like, I never done this before, but you can't just sue him like this, right? And he tossed. But because we're in criminal court, the charges are brought by the people of the United States of America. So for that kind of a situation, it would be very unusual. I'm not going to say impossible because nothing's impossible, but it would be highly unlikely. I would be shocked. I would fall off my chair if a judge was to come in and take that grand jury indictment and be like, nope, it's got to go. When it comes to a grand jury. Now, if you don't have a grand jury and you are in a criminal situation and the prosecutor takes the trial information into the judge will assess probable cause. If the judge doesn't find probable cause, then it gets tossed. But that's a situation without a grand jury. So if he was on his own, sure. But with a grand jury, no. Got me on that one. They'll use the tweets to make motions to show. Oh, sure. I think something that I've been really noticing a lot, extra noticing, super noticing, I don't know, is that this administration is so full of itself, and it just is what it is, that they will go on podcasts and they will say, hi, Tootie, or Toodle, got that one wrong again. I'm sorry. They'll go on to podcasts and be like, yeah, here's your quid pro quo. Or or they'll talk to the media like, yeah, we're going to be doing this. And it's like, it doesn't matter. They just confess. So all of that is evidence. All of his tweets, anything he said to reporters, anything that he said ever, all of that can be used as evidence. Right? He shows his hand every time. That's the perfect way of putting it. Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, and I think the big thing with SCOTUS and immunity, which I like to, hello, Michelle, which I like to really nail down anytime anyone brings it up. So I'm so glad people keep bringing it up. The immunity that the Supreme Court was talking about is only for official presidential acts. So right now, that would be if he gave a pardon, you can't charge him for that. And like treaties, like foreign affairs. All right. So those two things, everything else is going to have to be pre-approved. So that's really it. It might seem like, oh, he's got this vast immunity, but he doesn't, because the Supreme Court was like, man, we don't really know what we're saying. And it was just open. So we don't know. Again, it has to be a criminal charge against him for an official presidential act, right? So there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking. I've been watching the Blessing Game case, which is the civil equivalent to the criminal January 6th case, and it's still going. It's still going. Can you even believe it? I mean, my goodness gracious, it's just so slow. But anyway, as that goes on, I think we'll start to see maybe some of those parameters, because that's the first case that really has to work on it. Right. Okay, Portland, right. So we've got a threat of, let me make sure I have this right. It's a threat of National Guard to Portland. Good afternoon. Hello. National Guard didn't SCOTUS still leave it up to lower courts to adjudicate what acts are? Yes, that's exactly right. And that was really the crux. Sorry, everybody. I'm sitting on a filing cabinet, so I gotta readjust that filing cabinet. There we go. Yes. So the Supreme Court said the lower courts need to answer these questions, and they used the Blessing Game case that I'm talking about. They used that as an example. They said, you have all of these cases going, but no one has really put this idea of what exactly is an official act down. We had some of it in Nixon v. Fitzgerald. Don't get me started on that case, but we didn't really have a full breadth of it, which was the problem in U.S. v. Nixon, because that's a criminal case. We didn't have a full explanation. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for another court to tell them what are official presidential actions so that they can tell them, yes or no. Oh, I will, Connie. Thank you so much. Hold on here. I should have picked a different chair. But other than that, yes, I'll take care. Appreciate you. So sorry about that. So the immunity piece out there that everyone is so worried about, first of all, let me remind you, it's only for criminal charges. Only for criminal charges against him. And it only covers official presidential actions. Any action that involves Congress, no immunity. That's the other thing, too, that I think a lot of people forget about, because there's a lot of co-things that the president and Congress do together. So if anything he's doing has a piece of Congress involved in some way, then that immunity is broken and he legally can be charged criminally. But also, everyone, remember, we don't charge a president who's currently in office because of protocol reasons, and the DOJ is compromised. So keep that in mind. If criminal charges come, they wouldn't come till after he's out of office. Right. Shouldn't be. Well, I agree. It shouldn't be personal feelings and whining, but, that's what we've got right now. Yeah, he's thrown executive orders because the Heritage Foundation has a bank that they put together, and they were very clear about it. And it was, there was no surprise that they have literally a book of executive orders, and they're just kind of doling them out. They did a huge stack right in the beginning, and now they're kind of doling them out here and there. So he's just signing them. He might say something like, I want this or that or the other. And then they're like, okay, we'll put that together with some language. But these are coming from a stockpile that they've got. I am feeling better, Boxer Mom. I am. I'm doing better. Uh, it's all right, VC. Hi, Barrister. You're my paralegal. Where have you been? I got filing. Chop chop, Barrister. They'll get, yeah, I agree. I agree. Here's the thing though, everyone. Oh, thanks, Krista. I appreciate that. Is it Stephen Miller pulling? Well, he's one of the primary pieces, I think, pulling at what's going on here. But I think it's important to note that they can't go this hard for the whole time. Nobody can. Nobody can go this hard for 4 full years. And you're kind of already seeing that, right? That they're burning out and then they're trying to build back up again by tossing out like these crazy shiny objects that are distracting, like Amelia Earhart. It's like, why are we talking about that right now? It's because they're burnt and they've got to rebuild again. So anytime they get burnt, that's when we got to go and be like, this. And I think some people in Congress are starting to notice that too, because I'm starting to see some more action during these periods. I'm sure you're underestimating the burnout. Probably. They're probably pretty burned. You won't even see. Well, right. And that's a big problem. But again, it's strategic, right? They aren't going to stop. No, I don't know that they're going to stop, but I think they're going to slow down. They're going to slow down just by the sheer quantity of it, right? I mean, we're at 406 lawsuits against the administration. More coming. So what I'm predicting is for each executive order, we're having 1 to 3 lawsuits. Hi, Upgrade. Good to see you. 1 to 3 lawsuits per executive order is what's happening. So every single time an executive order is coming down, they are suing on it. Because of that, it's slowing everything down, right? So the DOJ, all the people that are trying to get in there and, pull the strings, they're in court all the time. They're in court. They're drafting stuff. They're trying to run all over the place and take care of business. So it's just a sheer numbers game at this point. That's why I'm saying they're going to slowly go. They're going to slowly burn out. Hi. Delay. How long can they delay? Hold on here. Let me look back. I'm going back. How long can they delay in the new Arizona? That I don't know. But, I mean, there are more powerful people than myself that are standing up and being like, we need to get this done. We need to get it done now. We're not going to deal with this BS. Get her done. So there are some powerful people that are like, we need to get it done. So that's good. At least they're working towards that. I think we have had this period of time where we didn't see anyone else really doing anything because I think they were shocked or gathering or whatever it was that the people were doing. But I would say absolutely they are working to move that forward. Sorry, everybody. Can Mike Johnson go to jail for, hold on, for his delays? So, interesting question, because our Congress, hello, Bill, our Congress is actually very much immune. So that kind of immunity that everyone's like, well, he's got, all this huge immunity as the president. Congress already has that crap. So, I mean, right? So if he's making decisions under the purview of his position as House Speaker, he's going to be protected with immunity. So they're not going to charge, first of all, not with this DOJ. And second of all, if he does somehow get charged, he's going to claim, protections, immunity under the federal situation. And then after that, if Mr. Orange is still in office, I got to watch my language here. I'm going to talk, everybody. But if he is still in office, he could get pardoned. Yeah. So they're pretty well insulated. And I think that's kind of what makes them brave. What makes them braver. Sorry. I got to move this over just a little bit. Okay, stay with me, everybody. Here we go. There we go. Moving. We made it. All right, here we are. Yeah, sad but true. we have gone through, our country's gone through stages where we've had really crappy people in charge, but didn't have the means to communicate like we do now, right? Because it's hard to be like, all this crappy stuff went down and then, take a horse to the next town. Because by the time you get a couple more states away, like it's all done. And so it's not hot anymore. So that's one of the things that I think is, important to remember is that everything seems so quick right now and it's a lot, but we have had problems like this in the past. The bad guys are trying to go for broke. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, these are just my lights. You can't tell because I'm just in this little box, but it's actually a tree. It's a tree, and I lost the remote, so I'm not, so I can't change the lights. Sorry, I'm working on it though. Oh my gosh. I've never felt like someone was destroying our country before. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I guess for me, honestly, under Rehnquist, I felt he was trying to. So for me, this isn't my first rodeo, but this is my first time seeing how many people are okay with it being destroyed. About the orders, criminalization of, hold on here, let me get the rest of Antifa. Is that the rest of your word there? Yikes. Oh, good. Anti-fashion. I got you. Okay. I wouldn't be concerned right now. I would not be concerned, right? You're talking about an executive order, right? Where he's listing like this is now a T organization. If you're talking about an executive order, which I assume you are, no, I would not be concerned. What I have been doing is I've been going through these executive orders. Yeah, they're garbage. And the thing that is so interesting, and I've been posting, is that there in every single one of them so far that I've read, there are things that are just not even possible, right? Like the most recent one, which I got to be careful with my words here, but the DOD, right? Like we're going to change that name to DOW, right? Because they're like, woohoo. They can't do that. They're like, we're changing the name. Like, no, Congress has to change the name. And there's all kinds of those things in all of these different orders. A reading and writing challenge. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, because what they want, they can't get. And so they just, oh, Nani, that's so sweet. I'm happy to see you. Thanks for swinging by. But they have all these big ideas and they want to do it, but they're not able to really follow the protocols, right? We kind of talked about this before. Procedural laws are the kryptonite for this administration. Memphis or Portland fight back. What could he do outside those jurisdictions? Well, if anything, it's a good question, because we don't have a situation where it's the government against the people. And you got to remember that because it's not the government against the people. It's this Mr. Orange against the people because the Oregon is not against the people. Oregon is stepping up and saying, you need to back up. You need to take a step back. These are our people. We're not going to let you come in and harm them. Just like, excuse me, sorry, everybody. Just like Chicago, right? Just like California. Our states are individual, right? And they're very protective of their citizens. So, already I've seen multiple places where statements are being made like, you need to step back. So I think what exactly with Chicago, and I think what the issue would be is state versus federal. And so, the Mr. Orange, going too far past what he should be doing against the state. They're not alone. The people, the Oregonians, right? They're not alone. They're not out there just in the wind like, you got to take care of it yourself. It's not our problem. No, they have the backing of their state. And Oregon's made that very clear, as has California, right? And with that kind of support at your back, yeah, that's going to make a huge difference. Your niece lives there. Okay. I've heard Oregon is, oh, thank you so much, CT. I've heard Oregon is gorgeous. It's on my list. One of those places I really want to go to. I haven't been. Oh, of course, of course. Oh, yeah. Because it was on LA for so long. Yeah, see, sorry. That's the interesting thing, too. Because they keep showing their hands, because they keep giving away. Again, I always liken it to like a Bond villain or, a non-misogynistic hero villain. All right, where the villain's like, okay, we're gonna come in with sharks with laser beams on their head. It's like the same thing. They're like, okay, we're gonna come in with the National Guard and do this and that and the other, and if you file against us, then we're gonna do this. So it's not like some big secret because they just have this sense of entitlement that they're like, well, of course, this is what we're doing and we're going to get away with it because we're us, you know? So that's kind of how this process has been going. Portions being, yeah, oh, you're so sweet. Portions of P25 are absolutely being gone through. And one thing I have also been doing also with the executive orders is I've been looking back at the P25 because in some pieces of P25, they actually set out the biggest hurdles for it being implemented. And so I've been going through and looking like, ooh, well, I think they've even set out how to fight against some of the pieces. So I've been looking at that as part of our reconstruction plan, right? Which is, our plan to see how we're going to put things back together after this is over. Pick it up off the floor, right? Rebuild, which is what we do in this country. We rebuild a lot over and over and over again. So that's part of it. That's going to have to be part of the strategy. I've lost all hope. Oh, Grammy. Oh, I know. Oh, it's hard. It's so hard. And the way that we're hearing about it, the way it's being twisted, honestly, is just overwhelming. It's so manipulative. I mean, I wish I could somehow explain the huge breadth of how much we are winning in court. And I can't. There's no way I can illustrate that. I mean, when I show the closet docket, we can go through that and talk about it. But to truly understand, we have hundreds of cases that we or the non-administration are winning on. Just over and over and over again. Our district courts, our appellate courts, we've had final decisions now, summary judgments granted for plaintiffs. So for people who are against this. Not only that, but you probably haven't heard about this either. There are a lot of cases that have been filed where an injunction's been put into place. And so now they're asking for discovery, where the government has had to go back in and fix stuff. One of my best examples is we have a filing saying you took some stuff off of your website. That's very important. We government, you need to put it back on your website. And they're like, we're not going to do it because it goes against the executive office's, plan. And the judge is like, I don't care. Put that crap back on the computer. I'm just, summarizing for you. And they are. And they are. And at this point, too, what's so interesting is that these courts, they had maybe the first month of suits, February. They're like, oh, this is weird. What are you doing? And then March hit, and we had the El Salvador situation. El Salvador has broken this whole pack, right? So if we had the situation where the courts are like, oh, give them a chance, give them a chance. They're trying to figure it out. We got to give them a chance. They do that for everybody. But after El Salvador, now what the courts are saying is, this is my order. What is it you're going to do to try to not follow it? And we want status reports. We want constant status reports. Constant talking to each other, pre-trial conferences, they are hitting it like it's going out of style because they want to pull them in and look at these attorneys in the face and say, this is our order. Are you following it? It's kind of what you would do if your kids get out of control, right? So if you like try to trust your teenager and you leave and they throw a big party or seance, whatever, Beetlejuice, whatever, and then you come back and you're like, wow, you really jacked this up, right? So next time, it's like you're going to need to show me what's going on, and you're going to need to do it every hour. And that's what's happening in hundreds of cases. We're not just talking one or two cases, hundreds of cases. And so for me, when I see that every day, when I see this happening constantly, I know that we're moving forward. I know that we are not in such a bad position as it's been portrayed. And also, again, we've won on summary judgments. They have yet to have a final winning verdict. That's important to note too. All of these winnings that they've been having at the Supreme Court are pretrial motions, right? The pretrial motions. We haven't even had the trial yet. So, I mean, yeah, it gives you a glimmer. But on the other hand, we're going in and not even having a trial yet. It's like there's a lot more time in this game. They just choose to ignore the orders. We've had several situations where that's happened. And we actually had a Maryland judge because he tried to sue the entire bench. Like, what the H is that? Bologna sandwich. He tried to get all the Maryland judges. Now that case got dismissed real quick. They're like, this is stupid. But the thing is, they've been trying to kind of go around the accountability and got really, really close in the DC case. The DC case was, again, the people to El Salvador, but jurisdiction was moved. They had to go back into Texas or wherever they were from for habeas, right? If they hadn't gotten them moved, I think we would have seen further accountability when it came to that. But yeah, they were already found in contempt. There was probable cause to find them in contempt. They were on their way to contempt out on the West Coast as well. So we haven't had a situation where some kind of punishment had to be given out yet because we weren't at that point, right? There's 3 steps. We were at step 1 and step 2. We didn't make it to step 3. And in several cases, we're back at step 1. There are several cases where the judges are doing like a motion to compel discovery. And that means they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in court. They're not giving the documents. They're not giving the depositions. And the courts are like, you need to do that because if you don't, we're going to have some problems here. So we haven't even gotten into the full force of what the courts can do. We've been kind of talking about it, but so far the government, every time they get close, they back up and they keep backing up. Now, this isn't a challenge for them. I'm not trying to say, keep going. I'm just saying, I think they realize how close they're getting to a line that they do not want to cross. Winnings on cases from the Supreme Courts are not final rulings. No. Oh my gosh. No, Grandma. Okay. No. The rulings that have come from the Supreme Court have been on preliminary injunctions, whether that's appropriate for a specific case, each specific case. So can the funds be released for this specific case? All right. Or it's been on, we've had, let me go through the list. We've had the frozen funds issue. We've had the nationwide injunction issue has gone up. We've had a denial of certiorari for termination of employees, but that just is like a mid-case situation. We have no final rulings from the Supreme Court. Yes, in some of the firings what I've seen is we've had a denial of cert. So the court's like, we're not going to see this until you finish your case. None of these has been in front of the court that's actually already had a trial. None of them. This is all pre-trial stuff. Use your voice for AI. No, AI and I do not agree. We're in a fight right now. I'm not talking to AI. Yes. So keep that in mind too, right? They're like, oh, we're winning at the Supreme Court. Like winning what? Like small potatoes. Yeah, Debbie, exactly. They're getting tired of having that hotline, right? And they're tired of I can't speak for the Supreme Court, but I can say this isn't an easy road. This isn't just, all right, here you go. Here's whatever it is you need. No, they're fighting. The court is fighting. They are fighting each other, and they have a lot more cases than just his cases. And it's very possible for them to negotiate out, like, hey, we've got these other cases here. And, if you want to do what you want to do, maybe you need to give me a little leeway here on some of these other cases. Louisiana case with gerrymandering. Yes. So that one we're still looking at. That one, I don't remember the name of it, but I know it's set to go. Democracy docket. That's where you want to be. They're putting out the content on the Louisiana case. They're setting it up, knocking it down, smacking it around. That's where you want to be. So as far as predictions of what's going to happen, democracy docket, that's where you want to be. Calais, oh, thank you so much, VC. Calais v. Landry. Thank you so much. But too, everyone, and we've got that Voting Rights Act issues going on, right? We've got a lot. Oh, I've got to be careful. I can't say the V word, I don't think. But we have a lot of that going on. And I can't even believe how many. Yes, Mark, exactly. Mark Elias, how focused some firms are just on that. Like that is their only focus. We have had firms too that have just started, that people have created just to deal with the litigation against the administration. So because so many people have been kicked out, right, of the DOJ or had to leave because they're honorable, they're like, well, dude, let's pick up the gauntlet. And they've just started their own firms. So you have a whole bunch of attorneys who are like, that's not right. And, coming in, and we haven't really had that before. So, and some of them are pretty big names, like big names, and they know how to win a case. Been sick. Yeah, I have been, Debbie. No, don't. No, I'm happy. This is my happiest I've been. I've been able to come out here and hang out. I'd like to review the pleadings. Yes, Cherry. And I've got several. I am still printing things, so I'm going to have a big stack when I come back on to go through them with everybody. We still need to go through the Newsom case. We still need to go through the AEA case and those kind of things. I haven't gone all the way through. Yes, it is good. It is good. Who's funding the case is just curious, not nefarious. Sure. Well, it's Shifty, of course. So what's happening are organizations or people are, thanks, Amanda, good to see you too, are bringing the lawsuits. All right. So we've got unions here. I would have to say probably one of the biggest groups bringing the lawsuits are unions, because information's being put out that should have been kept private. Workers are being fired. Promises are not being kept. So we've got this huge group of unions. We also have nonprofit organizations. Harvard has a few. We also have, I want to say, maybe 15, well, more than that now, maybe 25 cases brought by states, by attorney generals against the administration. So we have states suing the crap out of. We even have a lawsuit that Congress has brought. So of course, the Democrats in Congress have filed a lawsuit against the executive office. So they're bringing them. And then the money that the Department of Justice has, that's what they're using to defend them. So that's basically now completely under Mr. Orange's purview. So all of their budget's going to, a handful of people that they're trying to go in and defend these cases. And it's getting ugly. I mean, it's bare bones. And as you can probably see in the media, it's getting pretty thin in the area of having attorneys that are willing to do this. And it should be. Democracy docket. I'm not sure if they're here on the TT. They're definitely on the tube, though. Definitely. Sue for being fired when he won an Emmy. I don't think so, Trey. That's a valid question. I think any lawsuit that Colbert would have to do with his contract, right? So if they're in compliance with the contract that they have, probably not. But if they aren't, then it would probably be a contract violation case. Okay, Sharms, yes. So we had several law firms that there was an executive orders that came out as threats. And so they settled. And I'll tell you right now, the courts, the judges that have come back, they're like, what are y'all doing? That's not okay. So they've lost their reputations. There's a handful of them. And some of them have agreed to do pro se work on certain kinds of topics. True. But there are many more that have said no way in heck. And that those are some of the cases we've got motions for summary judgments that were granted. We have final decisions saying that the executive branch can't put an executive order out trying to go after a law firm. Yeah, I think there's going to be some regrets. Some regrets for sure. Oh, I will. I will. And I'm doing okay. I know I'm a bit hoarse, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, especially compared to some people. My goodness, there's some stuff going around. Can Tylenol sue for defamation? I would say it's possible. I don't have all the ins and outs, but if you are using a name brand and saying something false that you are knowing is false, then maliciously, then it's possible to go forward on that. Oh, thanks, Bruce. Wait's mother. I just couldn't. It's a mess. It's just a mess. So I think the intent element would need to be shown. And I think the intent element would be no problem if it's the government. If it's Mr. Orange, I don't think you're going to be able to get any intent on Mr. Orange, no matter what. I think we got a Reagan situation. So Mr. Orange is like over there. But the government itself, they know better. Like they have the information. Right, right. And maybe a couple of people might be confused, but they have that information and they know better. Right, right. Yeah. And I mean, even you might not even be able to get Kennedy, honestly, because he's so blah, wackadoo. But yeah, exactly. The Supreme Court gonna let him out? Oh, that's a good question for like protests and stuff. Hold on, Lynn. Let me pull your comment back down here a second. What? For like protests or whatever he wishes. No, I do not believe so. I do not think that the Supreme Court thinks that the Supreme Court's going to go down that road. I really don't. And that's just based on watching the court for the last few years. They're pretty strict on how they're viewing things, and they're pretty in compliance with their stance. But you have to understand, like, Thomas is not the court. He is like the you know, bad apple. I don't want to get kicked off my life. So I don't know who's watching me here, but he's like the bad apple. He's not the court, though. He's not the whole court. I don't like Alito. I would say he's he's like the half bad apple. All right. But we've got our three liberal type justices. Chief Justice is a flipper. You never know which way he's really going to go. Barrett's a flipper. Gorsuch is leaning towards Thomas and Alito, but not always. And Kavanaugh, he's really leaning that way too, but not always as well. So okay, he's not half bad compared to Thomas. And I take that based off of the articles of impeachment, because there were like 10 articles of impeachment for Thomas and only 3 for Alito. All right. So yeah, that's a good point. But that's what I'm using in order to scale it. Yeah, he never had a word to say, did he? Now he's talking for sure. For sure. He's got a lot to say. But my point was, getting back, squirrels. My point is, we have some incredibly intelligent and honorable people on the court. All right. So and we've got a bad one for sure. And so with that, we just have to remember it's not one person on the court. We've got a 9-person panel up there. How do we change the Supreme Court? All right, so Judicial Act can go through Congress. That can change the size of the court. All right, so that can also add circuits or divide our circuits up. Our circuits right now, the federal courts are crazy. It's bonkers. The last time it was fixed was like 100 years ago, we only have 13, well, 12 plus 1 circuits, and they're huge. They're huge areas. And so we need more circuits, in my opinion. We could probably use more judges, in my opinion, in order to make things go smoother, to be able to have more cases. That all can go through Congress. All right. Congress can do that. Hey, a girl in her brushes. Good to see you. But a lot of people, a lot of people are frustrated with the removal process. The removal process and the lifetime appointments and even the appointment process. The only way to fix that is through a constitutional amendment. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad it helps. I hope it helps a little bit out there. Yeah, I mean, some people are like, well, don't be overly optimistic. I'm not optimistic. I'm just like staying straight. I'm just stay the course is where I'm at. That's it. I'm not expecting anything good. I'm just staying the course and hoping not too much bad that can't be undone. That's probably not very helpful. Sotomayor on the Colbert. No, I didn't see her. I have a hard time watching Sotomayor right now because it's like she's in my head and she's speaking. She's speaking my thoughts. And so it was like, I'm gonna have to wait on that. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's really, hi. Yes. Hello. It's very sad for us. He just fired U.S. attorneys. Yep. He can do that. The U.S. attorneys come and go under whoever's in the administration. Right. So term limits can only be done through the Constitution. So that kind of a proposal would have to be presented. The only way we've ever added anything to the Constitution has been through Congress. There's two ways, Congress and then through the states. We've never done one through the states. We've only done Congress. So honestly, if everything gets flipped, all right, it's possible that Congress could put in a term limit and actually get it passed through Congress. Now, if that does somehow magically happen, then it has to go out then to the states. So how is he breaking all the laws? Well, he's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. He's got the ability to follow through on some threats. And he is, he's scaring people. So you do weird stuff when you're afraid. And when you're like a rich person, I guess, super rich person, and you're afraid, you just throw money at your problem, right? And then you just are like, man, not my problem anymore. I'm going to go buy some Greek vases or whatever. So I think a lot of that just has to do with some, really rich people that are like, well, it's not our problem, it's your problem. They just don't care. Which brings me to Mr. Musk, everybody. Here's my question. I have a huge question. Now that we've seen someone actually pretty much purchase a president, how can we keep that from happening again? What kind of law do we need to put in place so one person isn't able to go in with multiple $1 million and buy the president? That's the kind of law that we're going to need to work on. That's going to be, well, you know what I'm saying, with the vases. Well, I mean, there's always going to be money in politics. Hello. Hi, Starfire. Starfire. Pretty name. There's always going to be money, but the way that one person could come in and do this much, basically literally throw just like money into the air and let it rain down. So that's one piece. And then on the flip side, here's my other question. I need to make some posts about this. Here's my other question though. Is it, okay, we all have constitutional rights for voting, right? Like we can't be kept from voting if we meet the requirements as citizens. So the question is, can you sell your vote? Can you sell your vote? Is it for sale? Is there somewhere a law that says you may not take $1 million in exchange for your vote? Because the situation again with the Musk guy showed, if you show up and he's like, I'm not buying their vote. I'm like, well, technically not, but you kind of are. Is there a way we can straighten those laws up, or cinch them up a bit so that people can't just give $1 million and say, I'll vote for this person? And if there is something in place that we can kind of firm up, should we? Or should you have the right to sell your vote? That's the other part of that. It's a twofer. Number one, is it okay if someone offers you the money to get your vote? Which automatically you're like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. True, but let's firm those laws up. And then number two, why not? Why can't they? Why can't you, with your own vote, decide what you want to do with it? So those are my questions. Those are my questions that I want to bring up here. Oh, wait, hold on. Hey, Wiseacre. Is that the people that won didn't care. The laws weren't enforced. Okay. Fair. I think that's fair. Right. So if they're not caring, that's the point where we've got to come back in and say, what's going on here? What can we do here? The Constitution does not say one person, one vote. How would anyone know how someone voted? It's private. Good question. It's a good question. It'd be on the honor system, wouldn't it? Or then if you go one step further, what if you sign a contract? What if you sign that contract and then break that contract? Right? Why would someone want to sell their vote? Well, I think we saw that. We saw hints of that in this last election. That's why I think bringing up these questions are really good to do, right? Because he had a handful of people that he was like, here's your whatever, if you go do your whatever, which essentially was selling the vote. I will not sign anything. You're very wise. You're a wise person. Absolutely. Well, right. Wealth inequality. Now, hold on to your hats. With all the love in my heart that I have, and Bernie is sitting right over here, everybody. With all the love I have in my heart, let's just remember that unequal distribution of wealth, that's like just a human trait. It doesn't mean we should accept it. Hello, Thomas. But I'm also saying that's something that's been a problem. And I mean, that's why we have like Lutherans, right? No offense is meant. But again, that's the problem, is that there's this unequal distribution, and trying to make it so it is more equal is a problem. I mean, that's one of the fundamental pieces that we got to work on. Right. The law tries to be a guardrail to that, but the law is imperfect because there are people writing it, right? And who knows where, which side they're on, who's writing their paychecks, right? So that's a part of it. And then the implementation. And I would remind everybody about TikTok. Like, technically, TikTok's been set by the federal government as like, you can't do it. And the Supreme Court's like, they're right, you can't do it. And so now the only reason we're here doing it is not because it's legal. It's because they're not enforcing it, right? So we've got the situation where the executive branch is refusing to enforce a federal law that's gone through all of the steps. Now, I'm not saying, oh, that's awful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, when it comes to our branches, we're having some problems here. Now, anytime, many times, the presidents have set out this period of time when they won't enforce certain rules. That's why we've got temporary protective orders in some of our immigration situations, right? And that's prosecutorial discretion by the Attorney General. But then the question becomes, What happens if that's abused, right? Or is it abuse at all? So do we have to go by the letter of the law, or can each administration make their own choices because of the power that they have as the president? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know which would be the best way to do it. I don't know, truly. Congress going to allow the madness to continue? No, I don't think so. We're already seeing cracks. I would say what I watch for, honestly, what I watch for is where Grassley's at. And I watch him because he was the one, when we're talking about the judicial system, when we're talking about the law, he's the one who's in charge of that committee. And if he's been putting his 2 cents in saying, knock it off. And he's like, what, 120 years old? That's where I'm keeping my eyes. That's the canary in the coal mine, right? If he starts turning his back on how the law's supposed to work, we got problems. Do you have any plans for a live? Talking about Supreme Court decisions this week. Well, I am trying really hard to get my voice to work, but I'm hoping to. I have got to get back into it. There have been a couple of big ones that are really important that I think, we should go through. Ooh, puzzle piece, everyone. Did I get it? I didn't get it. Okay, cross your fingers. Gonna get the puzzle piece. Did I get it? Oh, I got it. Oh, shoot. Gee whiz. Gee willikers, Wally. Yes, lots of tea. I am Thomas. Thank you so much. I've got a support team in here that's been helping. That was a couple terms ago. Oh, wait, what were we talking about? I was talking about Grassley. I was talking about how Grassley was like, I don't know about this business. Well, right, exactly. Every kid out there, Halloween. Well, right, Chevron, right. So the Chevron doctrine. Now, that is actually on my table because I would like to go through the case involving that. And which just slipped my mind. It's just Loper. It's the Loper case. Anyway, I do want to go through that because we've got so many questions now that are open in front of the Supreme Court coming up on administrative procedure questions. Again, we're in the land of procedure with the APA. And that goes hand in hand with the Chevron doctrine being kicked out the window. We also have this question on, oh my gosh, I forgot the name. Humphrey's executor. That's the name. Okay. We've got the Humphrey's executor issue also going on. That's huge. Yes. You knew what I was saying. You were like in my brain because that's where they said that a president can't just fire a federal person for funsies. Like you have to have cause. Now, as we all know, we've got, some states that allow for termination at will and some places that are like, no, you need to have a contract. So what he's trying to do is have everything at the federal level be at will because he's, the boss of the executive branch. Well, Humphrey's executor was like, no, you can't do that. But now they're taking some big bites out of it and it's heading back up to the court. And with this court, I'm not sure it's looking very good based off of what they've already ruled on. So all of these kind of filings that we've been dealing with or firings that we've been dealing with have been protected at some places, but not in others. Yeah. Precedent's a good question. Some people have been asking me that too. Do we still have stare decisis? Great question. We're supposed to. We're supposed to still have it. Hello, Blue. That's what's in place still. And I've not seen anything come down that has removed it. So I don't think it's gone. But, we've got trouble in River City, everybody. We saw trouble coming with the Dobbs case. So when Alito came in and was like, that's not that, That's yeah. So we got some trouble in River City for sure. But and I always remind people of this, right? That the Supreme Court will set the law. Yeah. And it might be crappy, but it's the attorneys that find a way around the law. That's what our job is. Our job is to work with the law to make your lives better, to be okay, so that you are not harmed. Or if you are harmed, that you're compensated for that, right? I mean, that's what we're trained to do. So for us, if the law gets changed, it's like, all right, what are these idiots doing again? Like the administration, if you're working out of college, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Versus the professors, right? That have to kind of go and clean all of it up, right? Same thing with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's going to put some crap out, and we're going to see some crap coming out. That doesn't sound right at all. But the point is, as attorneys, we figure out a way to live with it and to help people live with it. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of that going around. And we're already, honestly, in the legal field, we're already seeing it. I mean, I'm seeing articles where they're like, well, this crap just got passed. How are we going to deal with it? And then everyone's like, all right. So, that's kind of what we do. Should avoid international travel due to the hostile. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that's so sweet of you. I appreciate you. I don't think if you're talking about hostilities from other countries, perhaps, although, that's kind of a lesser issue. The biggest problem, I'll just straight up, everybody. Hi, Dolphin. The biggest problem, my biggest problem is if you leave the country and you're brown or darker brown, any shade of brown, you may not get back in. Right, without having to go through some trauma. That is my that is my true feeling. I don't think I'd have a problem leaving the country with my brownness and going to visit someone in another country. The issue's getting back in. So I think right now it's like, yeah, check the paint swatches. Oh my gosh, that's genius. Right. And again, I would say, even a couple weeks ago, I would have said brown versus black. So if you're brown, that's the category, right? But as of late, over the last couple of weeks, yeah, I would say brown or black. If you have... And let me clarify, I'm not trying to make anybody who is not brown or black feel bad, because this isn't your problem. This isn't your fault. All right. So don't feel bad, but this just be real for a minute. All right. So those categories of people easily identifiable. If you can't pass as white, then, you got to be careful. Right. Oh, no, I can't get back into the cesspool. I don't know if I sounded like Hawk. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness gracious. He's so funny. Right. Well, I mean, cinnamon sticks. I'm going to. Oh, Nancy, that sounds tasty. So, yeah, I'm flying around the States. I've got to go to Chicago in a couple of weeks. So, I've got some things that I've put into place to make it easier. You probably can't tell because the filter I use, but I am on the paint swatch. I'm on the brown continuum paint swatch. So, I gotta watch my back too. Yeah, I don't really want to go, Thomas, but yes, I'm going. The flaming dumpster fire. The thing is, it's bad, right? It's bad. Oh my gosh, Kat. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much. It's not great. And everybody feels bad about it. And, yeah, I mean, I'm also a white tea. So I'm also on the white tea continuum. And I'm like, what is happening here? I didn't sign up for that. That's not what we wanted. We, as in my family. But on the other hand, we're recognizing that, yeah, if you're on the continuum, you've probably already assessed the kind of problems that you may have had in the past, they're going to be kicked up a notch. Especially right after when the first administration, when he passed the travel ban, right? Right? There were a lot of issues there. But this time, for some reason, it's like more aggressive than it was that first time. It seems like there's more people willing to use force. Oh, did you pin one and then I missed it? Oh dear. Oh wait. Oh wait. Can you believe he wants to prosecute Well, yeah, of course. Of course. He's going Okay. Side note, quick side note here. Uh all of the prosecutors that brought cases against him, he's going to go after. He just is. But let me clarify. Prosecutors have prosecutorial immunity, all right? As long as they're doing what's within the purview of their job, like bringing cases to court, there's immunity. Also, you still have to have something solid in order to bring a case. The Constitution is just a suggestion out. Not true. Not true. It's just very slow moving. All right? Very slow moving. We have violations of the Constitution occurring all over the place in these executive orders, all over the place. Then we take them to court. Court takes a long time. There's not a single, so far that I've seen, again, with 406 cases, we're not letting anything slide. Nothing's sliding. We're not saying, oh, that one's not as important as this one, right? Alien Enemies Act, meh, versus tariffs, meh, versus gas prices. Don't get me started. All right. Every single one's important. And every single one has a special group monitoring it, right? I mean, we've got doctors suing, we've got professors suing, labor unions suing, we have immigrants, assistance agencies suing. I mean, you name it, you name the category, and you've got someone in there fighting. So, I mean, no one's getting left behind, but it takes time. It just takes time, especially with all of these pretrial motions and crap that go all the way up to the Supreme Court and come back down, right? So we haven't even had answers. We haven't even had step one's the complaint. Step two is the answer. Step three is discovery. We're at step one. We only have like 50 cases with an answer. So we're way out of whack. Like there have been months that have gone by where there have been no answers in these cases. So we are like in still the baby stage, baby toddler stage of these lawsuits. We can use that. Let's use that. All right. Baby toddler stage. We're not even in the tween area. All right. When we start hitting the tween with a few cases, I'll let you know. But that's where we're at in the system because everything's being fought over. Every single thing is being fought over. Yeah. Although a couple of them, I suppose, Benjamin Buttons, where they're just like, motion for summary judgment, granted, done. Well, there are a couple. But the majority, they're still in that toddler. Yeah, the Comey case, I've got an eye on it, but again, it's thin. It's real thin. Kind of like the judge in Wisconsin, right? That was like hitting the news all over the place. And I'm like, well, I got one eye on it, but thin, still thin. And then also that guy that filed a complaint based off of the International Criminal Court. He came in and was like, Geneva, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was like, oh, Geneva's involved. It's like, no, that fizzled out too a couple months later. Supreme Court's fine with him prosecuting prosecutors. Supreme Court's not addressed that question. And they're being very, very specific. They're saying, this is specifically the question we are answering, none of this. By micromanaging, that timeline is getting spread out, right? We're trying to run out the clock here. That's what is happening with the Supreme Court. They have not answered. They have said, I mean, Chief Justice Roberts has said, if you don't like something, appeal it. You don't go after the person. He has said that in a very rare public comment. So there is that. But, I don't know any of the other justices that are like, go after the one that did you bad, that did you dirty. Even Thomas. So, right. If the prosecutor is malicious, now this is a good point. I'm not saying everybody is a happy dancing unicorn. That would be amazing, but they're not. If we have prosecutorial abuse, right, or we've got malicious prosecution going on, those are specific legal violations that prosecutors can do, and they need to be called out on it. Of course they do, because that's the law. And if the prosecutors aren't following the law, well, it's chaos. We're in crazy town. So we have to make sure that they are also following the law. And that's why, look into it. If you think if the prosecutor's dirty, look into it, right? Of course you should. Of course you should. And they need to be held accountable. I'm not sure, Moya. I know it feels that way. But I'm not sure that they are. Thank you. I'm not sure that it's not the whole bench. I feel like I can only guarantee one person on the bench that feels that way. And there are 8 other justices, right? And the majority wins. So even with our conservative justices, they have voted many times unanimously in cases where, you might have thought, oh, well, they'll just, give them another win. No, they voted differently. Right. It's not, well, and VC, that's such a good point. I guess the way I would say it is Justice Barrett, Justice Gorsuch, Justice Kavanaugh have no loyalty or overwhelming, gratitude for the president that put them in there. All right, is what I'm trying to say. Those 3, yes, conservative, yes, for sure. The most dangerous person on the court is Thomas. And then after that is Alito. Those are the 2 danger zones. The other 3 have flipped and flopped depending on the situation. There have been cases where Gorsuch has been in the minority just screaming like, no, that's not right at all. We hate that. And even Kavanaugh, where Kavanaugh's like, oh, you went too far. You went way too far. So if you read some of their cases over the last year and you see they're concurring and they're dissenting, sometimes, yeah, they all went and got in line, but sometimes they didn't. That's why they're kind of swingers. They're definitely tending to the left. I'm not going to say they're not, the right. I'm not going to say they're not conservative because they really are. But there is also this wild card element, which is usually how our court is. We've had a conservative court since Warren, right? The Warren court was the last court that had any kind of ideologies that weren't very, very conservative. After that, we've just had court after court after court with conservative judges. That's just kind of how it's been. Right. The trust is broken, Thomas. The trust with the U.S. Supreme Court is broken. And it broke with Dobbs, in my opinion. I think our faith and our trust of the U.S. Supreme Court broke when they overturned Roe. That was it, for sure. And they've not made it back. And they may not make it back for a while, unfortunately. But as long as we know that, as long as we can tell that, then we can work with what we have and work around it. And, that's kind of the goal. So at least that's my goal as a lawyer. My goal is like, oh, that sucks. How do we get around it? How do we make it so that we're okay? I wouldn't say decades. I don't know that it would be decades, but I just don't know. The response of the states has been very interesting, I think. And I also think there's some changes coming as well to some of the states. So we'll kind of have to take a look and see, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say it's going to be 20 years, but yeah, it could be a few years. Yeah, nobody listened. And that's the thing too, is, a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of people lately like, oh, I just didn't know. I'm like, that's you didn't listen. It's not that you didn't know, it's you didn't listen. So you have to work on that. And they're like, well, if I'd have known, I would have done different. You didn't listen. So listen next time. Listen. And if you feel like overwhelmed and you're disappointed in yourself, call your congressperson. Like, I don't care if you're disappointed in yourself. Make a difference by making a phone call and say, hey, I was on board, but this is getting bat blank crazy and I'm not really on board anymore. And I want you to know I changed who I am voting for. That's it. That's all you got to do. All right. So if you are disappointed, if you didn't know, you didn't listen, listen better. And if you want to complain about it and how you feel like you were wronged, call up your congressperson, okay? I'm not sure. I would need more information on shift secession. I've not been paying attention that closely. I've been kind of all over the place lately. Hello, Kaya. Oh my gosh, everybody. I'm going to have to call it. This has been so fun chatting with everybody. Haven't received a call back. All right. I would say pull back, give yourself a break, and then dive back in and send them a handwritten letter in like hot pink. Put a big sticker on it. Like, you work for me, Bubba. Let's put a big sticker on there. Anyway, I will be back again as soon as humanly possible, my friends. I will try. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of cases. We have a lot of things to go through. So I'll keep posting the big ones. If you've got questions, leave them under any of my posts and I will get back to you on it. So wishing everybody the best. Take care. Yeah, I've got to go. I've got to go have some more tea. But have a great night, everyone. And I miss all of you. I'll see you all again very soon.